Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, greeting from Lausanne in Switzerland. Life is back on track. The legal forum is being held in St. Petersburg, and it is a great honor for me to be able to participate again. I hope very much to have the pleasure to meet you all again soon. I'm vaccinated and I'm looking forward to move without risk for others and for myself. In the last year, the number of deaths due to coronavirus has increased. Also, senior citizens have paid a very heavy price. In the last few months, the death curve has been reversed in the sense that a significant number of younger people are adding to the number of victims. The estate of the category made by the 20 to 60 years old, or the active ones, as I call them, are different from the usual estates, notably because of the composition of the asset of people who all dies older. Indeed, the assets found in a classic estate are composed for the most fortunate of real estate, shares of large and stable companies, also called blue chips, as well as art masterpieces, cars, furniture, and personal properties. The middle class will leave the same type of asset in their estate, but in smaller quantities. Among the youngest, there will be more rarely real estate, blue chips. It will be replaced by option of non-listed startup companies. IKEA furniture will be worthless, and they do not hold either expensive jewelry. Younger people will more and more use bank dematerialized or e-bank accounts. Young people who are adept at a digitalized lifestyle will have online bank accounts. They pay their bills and they shop with their smartphone and their digital currencies. They juggle with the new financial instruments, in particular with the cryptocurrencies. As you can see, I am going to talk to you once again about inheritance law, but this time adding some new technologies, tax law, and a touch of criminal law. Let's discuss together the case of cryptocurrencies. To do this, we will try to start with a definition. Cryptocurrencies are made up of virtual assets stored on an electronic platform, allowing a community of users to accept them as payment, to carry out transactions without having to use the state and legal money. It can be used through a decentralized computer network. It could even be issued by a national bank. So we talk about e-currencies that could be considered as foreign currencies. Sweden, England, the Marshall Islands, Venezuela, Turkey, Iran, and China are more or less advanced in the creation and launch of cryptocurrencies. Whereas cryptocurrency cannot claim this qualification of e-currencies because no foreign state has recognized them as legal currencies. There are a multitude of cryptocurrencies in circulation. We have all heard about Bitcoin, but there is US Tether, Litecoin, Ethereum, Dash, etc. I counted about 41 different ones on an online platform. If I will not go deeper into a long explanation of how a virtual currency works, I will quickly mention some of the advantages and the disadvantages of the cryptocurrency. They are often transparent in the sense that all transactions are public. The owners and the recipients of this transaction being identified by their addresses. Transfers are extremely fast and almost at zero cost and lower than the price often charged by banks and other money transfer companies. They cannot be counterfeited. Unfortunately, cryptocurrencies are often incompatible with each other and extremely volatile. They can be illegal, as in Russia, for example. They are not conducive to a sustainable economy, as their creation and the use is absolutely not compatible with a sustainable economy. Let's keep in mind, however, that these cryptocurrencies are mainly used by states to control the flow of funds, which is much easier than a control on cash amount, which is practically impossible. In addition, and especially for cryptocurrencies, trust is based solely on the trust and value that the parties are willing to provide. It is a simple convention. A Bitcoin has no more value than a tulip in Holland in the 16th century or a shell in some tribes in Oceania. Many people, most often the geeks, take advantage of the various existing platforms around the world, however, start to buy whether to diversify their wealth or for the adrenaline secreted by speculating. What happens if the owner dies? Let's look at this from a civil law perspective. In my country, holding cryptocurrencies is allowed by law. So, it could be an asset like another. Really like another? Definitely not. As we will see, there are a lot of legal and practical issues that should not be underestimated. First question for a lawyer: can we qualify the cryptocurrency as a good in the sense of the civil code? Certainly, but I would rather talk about an intangible asset. Can we qualify the cryptocurrency as a currency? Yes, maybe, but only in the broad sense because it can fulfill a function of means of exchange and payment. But it certainly cannot have this qualification in a strictly legal sense of the term. It is interesting to note that in the decentralized system of the cryptocurrency, the holder have in principle no right to the repayment of the currency in an official currency, and that, in most cases, even from the commercial platform from which he would have bought it. As you will have understood it, to define the cryptocurrency is a vast subject. The issues are not only legal, but they are also practical. In addition to know, for the heirs, the existence of such an heritage, it is necessary to be able to access it. Without password, it's often impossible. Let's assume that the deceased was well organized. Then, in most of the cases, it would be relatively easy to transfer this cryptocurrency into legal currency. Still, it will be necessary to be able to transfer those funds to an account opened in the name of the deceased. However, tax law, which is always ahead of civil law, considers cryptocurrencies as a taxable asset for both wealth and income tax purposes. Whoever inherits cryptocurrency will pay inheritance tax by taking the value of this asset on the day of the death of the holder. I would advise to immediately convert the cryptocurrency into the legal tender in the country of the last residence of the deceased. Indeed, the cryptocurrency is so volatile that the risk of loss on exchanges makes me fear that overnight the taxpayer will not be able to honor the tax. Finally, I learned that in your country the possession and use of cryptocurrencies is prohibited. This may raise a question of criminal law. What will happen to this asset? Will it be confiscated? Is there a criminal liability for the heir? In my opinion, the criminal sanction is personal and based on guilt. I will remain the Latin sentence, nulla pena sine culpa. Therefore, the heir should not have to answer for this penalty upon the death of the deceased. The guilt is personal and cannot be transmitted. Nevertheless, if the heir uses or holds cryptocurrency, he may be guilty of the offense related to holding of this asset, and in this case, becoming punishable for the offense he has committed. This conference will leave me with a little taste of unfinished business. 10 minutes are too short to talk about this interesting topic. I hope one day to continue this discussion in person with you, listen to your questions, and try to answer them by finding common solution. As you noticed it, many questions remain open. We'll not have the solution, at least not immediately. And it is up to us, as notary, to have today the necessary pragmatism in the respect of our respective legislation to continue to facilitate the relation between the state and the citizen. I wish you a nice day in St. Petersburg, and I'm looking forward to meet you soon again. Bye-bye.